Hello and welcome to Some Like It Real. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Veronica.
And we're two cinephiles who love to talk movies.
We have weekly episodes discussing the newest films, creating lists and drafts, and keeping you updated on the latest movie headlines and awards races.
As a reminder, please like, rate, and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, which helps more people find the show.
And share it with any cinephiles in your life.
And as of today, we have finally reached the end of award season as the 98th Academy Awards were held last night, time of recording.
Yes, the longest season, feels like ever. Not technically, but that has concluded, and today we'll be recapping the ceremony, gushing about the winners, reminiscing about the season, going over all the highlights.
I am so relieved it's over, but there's also a lot to celebrate.
Definitely. So let's begin our recap of the 98th Academy Awards.
So to begin, congratulations to our new Best Picture winner, one battle after another, leading the way with 6 wins. In addition to picture, it also took home the prizes for director, adapted screenplay, supporting actor, film editing, and the inaugural Casting Award.
And that's just the beginning. Following behind that was Sinners with 4 wins, Frankenstein with 3, and K-pop Demon Hunters with 2 wins.
And to read off the winners, we're going to quickly just breeze through them, and then we're going to give our thoughts afterwards. So starting off from this list that I found on Wikipedia, thank you very much, Wikipedia, for this. Best visual effects went to Avatar, Fire and Ash. Best film editing, as mentioned, went to One Battle After Another. Best costume design, Frankenstein. Best makeup and hairstyling, Frankenstein. And best production design, Frankenstein. 3 in the row for Frankenstein. Best cinematography went to Sinners. Where's the rest of the list? Live technical issue on my end, everybody. Best casting, One Battle After Another. Best sound, F1. Best original song, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. Best original score, Sinners. Best animated short film, The Girl Who Cried Pearls. Best live-action short film, the first tie in many, many years, which we'll definitely delve into a little bit more. It went to The Singers and Two People Exchanging Saliva. Best documentary short film, All the Empty Rooms. Best documentary feature film, Mr. Nobody Against Putin. Best international feature film, Sentimental Value. Best animated feature film, K-pop Demon Hunters. Best adapted screenplay, One Battle After Another. Best original screenplay, Sinners. Best supporting actress, Amy Madigan, Weapons. Best supporting actor, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Best actress, Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Best director, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. And Best Picture, One Battle After Another.
A lot to break down. But Bryan, overall, what are your takeaways with the ceremony as a whole, and what do you think of the winners?
So, first things first, with the ceremony itself, I thought Conan did a wonderful job hosting. I admittedly liked him a little bit more last year, I think, than this year. Because, sometimes when these returning hosts come back, they don't always match what they did the first time. Sometimes they improve upon themselves. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that I loved about his hosting skills and everything. He was definitely not the issue that I had with the ceremony itself, aside from the winners. I thought it was paced really well, even though it felt a little clunky at times. I was never bored watching it. I will admit that I was hooked into it the entire time. I thought that there were a lot of things about the ceremony that I loved, particularly some of the sketches were really impressive. I think the In Memoriam was maybe the strongest element of the entire ceremony, and we'll break that down a little bit more. And then in terms of the winners, I have to be honest, it was a pretty predictable show overall. There were some surprises, certainly. Looking at the list of my predictions, I made a few very last-minute changes right before the show began, and I got most of everything right. There were just a few that I missed. Looking at my final ballot, I got 3 wrong, which, that's pretty good on my end. I'm pretty proud of myself, although I should have just went with the original supporting actor pick. I should have just said Sean Penn, but we'll get to that momentarily. But overall, I thought it was a good ceremony. There was a lot to love. There were certainly some things that annoyed me, and we could talk about that momentarily as well. But overall, I thought this was a really good ceremony, and it just reminded us of how wonderful this past year of film has been. So overall, thumbs up for me. Not a perfect ceremony, but solid ceremony. How did you feel overall about the ceremony itself and then the winners as a whole?
Yeah, similarly, I think I did get the sense a little bit that it like wasn't quite as strong of a presentation as last year, and maybe that's just not a sophomore slump for Conan. Like he certainly, I don't think he did anything wrong. Just a few of the, and honestly, a lot of the awkwardness or clunkiness like had nothing to do with him. It was a lot of, as we'll get into, spoiler alert, my least favorite thing about the ceremony is cutting off the speeches. Like that is just so crazy. It creates such a horrible vibe, and like but I think that he handled that as well as he possibly could. The other presenters and everything tried to handle that well, but yeah, I think that some of the like presenters writing, not the best. That you're always going to have some of that, but yeah, I think that overall, I really liked the recorded opening bit for Conan. With him as Aunt Gladys. I think that worked really well. Everyone, like I saw it at the I watched the Oscars at the Nighthawk Theater's Oscar party, and like that was the entire theater was like totally on board with that. We were loving every single new scene. It was just that was awesome. And I think his monologue was pretty strong. And yeah, so decent presentation, probably not the best, but definitely not the worst. And then the winners, yeah, so it was kind of an odd year because there were, a lot of pretty big categories that we knew going into it were kind of up in the air. So like whoever won there, it wouldn't feel shocking if it was one of, three people, as we talked about on our predictions. But there were a couple other things that were surprises, couple wins that were really exciting, some great speeches, some less so. But yeah, I think maybe mixed bag, but overall very very positive one for a really great year.
Yeah, I agree. I will just get right into it right now. Like, just to get this out of the way, I didn't enjoy that they kept cutting off people. I did not enjoy that at all.
When will
That
they learn? Like you can anyone will tell you like cut out some random bit or like chop those things down,
like
and we
did
want to hear the people give the speeches. Like
like did we really need a bit? And this is no disrespect, but did we really need a bit where Josh Groban was singing? Did we really need that? And this is this is no disrespect to him. It's just like, what is this? What's the point of all this and everything? Like the cutting off winners ticked me off. That really ticked me off. But the weapons opening, that was phenomenal. That was
that's
incredible.
good.
It's just that like I don't know what it is. All Conan does is just run away and scream. And for some reason, it was funny the entire time. But the best moment of that entire skit was, yeah, him going through all the various movies and everything. But I think the funniest one was when he was sitting down in Sentimental Value speaking Norwegian, and then he's like, all right, let's go. And then he's just like, let's go. Ah! He just runs away.
Yeah, that one was good. I liked the Sinners like intercuts that just like worked, like it was edited so well that like it really like it flowed because
Yeah, I
it's
liked when it had him go, oh, this guy's into it, and it's just was it Smoke
yeah,
or Stack that was bobbing
stack
his
like
head?
like
Yeah.
vibing to it, which has like been a big gif like since that scene came out and
Oh
everything.
my
But
god, it was really good. That opening was very very good. What did you think of the In Memoriam? How did you feel about that?
oh my God, brutal. I mean, we had talked
Mm-hmm.
about that before, that, this was just such a bad year for losing huge titans of Hollywood. But I think they handled that really well. Like you have a fine line to balance there when you have such, enormous personalities, like people who are super important to the industry. Like you don't want to, just highlight them too much, but you don't want to like, overlook them. So I think they did it really well. I think that, Rob Reiner just kicking it off with that and honoring both him and his wife as a producer and everything. Like that's Billy Crystal did so well. I like that they, pulled out his early streak of movies that is just like unparalleled. And then having a whole bunch of his actors and collaborators come out on stage, and then like I think that that's especially that was a bit more of a recent death. It was a tragic death. Like I definitely think, and he just had he's an actor, he's a writer, he's a producer, director. Like he was just such a big presence. So I think that was definitely fair. And then to kind of go into a more traditional memoriam, and then to pull out again with Rachel McAdams talking. I think she mostly highlighted Catherine O'Hara and then Diane Keaton, who of course she's worked with. And that, oh my God, when Rachel McAdams cries, I cry. Like as soon as
Yeah.
she gave a really great speech there, speaking about Diane and their work experience and everything. So yeah, I thought that was really wonderful. And then it went and then again, more, typical in memoriam, and then cutting to Barbara Streisand, honoring Robert Redford.
Oh my god.
Just, yeah.
And then she sings, and as if we didn't
Yeah.
feel even more emotional, it's like it's like, oh, this hurts so bad.
I loved how she spoke first, and I think it kind of like cut to like a wider shot, and then back to her, and she just like had this extra mic. I was like, it looked because she was gonna start singing. I was like, it looks like she was like, yeah, I brought my own. I'm good.
No, I thought the in memoriam was effectively handled. I think that
Yeah.
it was, I could see that some people were probably a little ticked off. It's like, why do some of these people get more time being highlighted than all these other people and everything? But what I really appreciate was that it didn't feel rushed, the whole in memoriam. It was paced really
Yeah.
nicely and everything, because in past years we've had these in memoriams that went super super fast, and I was reading the list of some people that weren't even in the in memoriam. Unfortunately, you're not going to get everyone in there. Like, it's unavoidable. It's sad that some people didn't make their way in. Like, I saw that James Vanderbeek was not in there, Eric Dane, Malcolm Jamal Warner. But I understand that for some of these people, they're not as prolific in the film world. I get it. I totally understand it. But at the same time, it's like, it would have been nice if they had gotten some recognition in the highlight reel and everything. But
Is there any sort of like rule about that? Do they have to be a member of the Academy or something?
I
Or
don't think so.
I'm sure if they are, they would get in it because there are all these like below
Yeah.
the line people who are obviously they were members. So
Yeah.
I guess it's either or.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a criteria to like be in the in memoriam and everything. But I thought that was very very well done. But yeah, I mean, I think overall the ceremony was solid. It was good. It was long, but that's to be expected, of course. And the
Yeah.
cutoff winners was strange. But do you have any favorite moments before we get into the winners itself? Did you have any other moments that you wanted to highlight regarding the ceremony itself?
Let's see. I think that like I enjoyed most of the like prepackaged bits. They had the the vertical like reorientation
Yeah.
thing where it's like for your phones, and I that kind of like it was a bit SNL bit or something, but like it worked pretty well for me. All of those. The bridesmaids reunion I think was great. The
Except Wendy was not
notes.
there.
I know, yeah, I don't know if that was just a scheduling conflict or something, but I think they all nailed that pretty well, and they took their time with that one too. But that was kind of the funny part of it.
Yeah.
They were just
Yeah.
up there, vamping. But yeah, that was really good. I'm trying to think if there were any like presenters that was. I enjoyed Kieran Culkin kind of accepting the award on Sean Penn's behalf, saying he couldn't be here or he didn't want to be.
Typical Kieran Culkin.
Yeah. I was like, what a match there. Like Kieran Culkin and Sean Penn is just like, wow. Yeah, I think that, yeah, there were definitely other presenters that were like notable, but I mean, just great. Oh yes, Anne Hathaway and Anna Wintour giving,
That was pretty cool.
costumes.
That was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
costumes and makeup. That's like a well done, like it's a, good synergy for their upcoming movie. It's playing with
Yeah.
the real life character
Uh-huh.
and everything. Like that was really well done. The fact that like Anne Hathaway got to be her like, presenterly, actorly self, and then Anna Wintour is just like, there to deliver coldness.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
Yeah, that was really good. Major shout out to Will Arnett for, what he said when he was presenting an animated feature, being like, don't let AI take over animation and the film industry. And that was really, really great. Plus, it was cool seeing Channing Tatum geek out with Will Arnett. And he dropped BoJack Horseman, and I'm like, yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
That was cute how he said he should try a live action sometime.
Well, actually, I was in this on last year. That was good. That was good. All right, the winners. So, Veronica, how did you feel overall about the winners? Did you have any favorite speeches, any favorite wins? Were there any wins that surprised you, that caught you off guard? Were there ones where you're like, really? This is the one? How did you feel overall about the winners?
I kind of just as like an Oscar nerd, was really floored by the tie. Like that was just so
Yeah.
crazy to witness. And I saw both of those shorts that won. So it went to the singers and two people exchanging saliva in the live action short category. But it's not a race that I was super invested in or anything like that. But
Hmm.
I just think it was so like Kumail Nanjiani handled it so well. Like the fact
And
that he just like
people at my party thought he was choking, and I'm like, I don't think he's
he
choking.
said, yeah, he was like he wanted to make sure everyone knew that it was not a bit. I think I'm like I don't know where that like was that like protocol to say like okay we're gonna have one winner come up and then I'm gonna announce the second one or did he just like improv that? Like I don't really
I
know.
think
I'm
he
interested
improv
about
that.
that.
Well, the thing is, the last time there was a tie was in 2013 when Zero Dark
For
30 and
sound, right?
Skyfall won sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was just like I was like, okay, this is
I think
like,
it's smart
everyone
to do that, though. I think it's smart to
yeah.
like let the one film go first, talk, give their speech, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah. Everyone
But
had their
that's
moment.
crazy. I never thought we would get a tie again. It would have been fun if we got a tie in above the line category,
I know. Yeah,
like what they
with so
did.
many of the races
Yeah,
being
like they
uncertain this
did
year,
all
people
those
were
years
saying
ago
that.
when Barbara Streisand won. Speaking of Barbara Streisand, when she won actress for Funny Girl, that was tied with I think Katharine Hepburn. I don't recall the
Mhm.
film, but I think that's what happened, and that was in the late '60s. But yeah, the tie
Yeah.
that was interesting.
That
That
was
was
crazy.
certainly a very interesting one.
And I was when the they were cutting people off on the speeches and everything. We were like, but Sean Penn didn't give a speech. Like use his time. And then we were like, well, we did have two speeches for the shorts. But I mean, either way, the ceremony didn't go over that long. But anyway, yeah, I think that I enjoyed the casting win for One Battle. I think that was a bit of a surprise. Again, we have no like precedent on that award. So, but I think it was probably widely favored to go to Sinners.
Yeah, I
But
think a
I was
lot of people
thinking.
predicted that. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it because we talked about it in the predictions, but we're sort of like, what is this award going to be? And, maybe it's going to be closely tied to Best Picture. I mean, we only have 1 year to go off of. But I appreciated One Battle for that win because that had a good mix of what we were talking about in the different nominees, where, like, you've got movie stars who have to, like, conform into fall into these real people and make you believe them, but also casting unknowns, casting people with
Hmm.
just really, interesting faces who,
Yeah.
I think that it like towed that line well. So I think that's, promising for how they could assess that award in the future. And then all the big ones, Amy Madigan gave a great speech. Jessie Buckley, even though it was totally, expected, she was just so emotional and just really heartfelt. That was beautiful. Ryan Coogler and PTA are Oscar winners. PTA 3 times over, like awesome. I did note this. I did flag this in our predictions. He didn't really get political or talk about the meaning of the movie or anything. I would have liked something like that from PTA, just because I'm so like for the most part, besides Javier Bardem, who's always a real one, like no one really got into anything that was anti-ICE or anti-war. I mean, Conan sort of gestured at it. But, I personally, I like when people take a moment to highlight something important to them. But, I guess you can't, it's a personal thing. And some people want to take that moment to do that and some don't. And then I think the biggest moment of the night, especially because I love One Battle, I'm glad it won Best Picture, but that was sort of a foregone conclusion at that point. I think the biggest moment was Michael B. Jordan winning actor by far. And just what a great speech. My whole theater erupted and everyone was so excited. So even though I predicted all wrong, I'm still very, very, very happy for him. That's a really great win.
Yeah, I think that the highlight of terms of the wins was Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. When the movie came out almost a year ago, and there were people that were predicting it to become this huge awards juggernaut. I mean, I didn't really think that was going to happen. I was very happy that it ended up becoming a huge deal and everything. But 2 months ago, nobody thought anyone was going to win Best Actor except for Chalamet. We all thought that Chalamet was going to race his way until the end. And, as we said on our predictions episode, his campaign kind of just fizzled out his chances of even going home. And I know that, Veronica, you must have been like, oh, why did I predict him? You got 3 of the acting categories wrong. And
It was so up in the air. I'm like, I'm just gonna go for one. I don't
I
know.
mean, at least you
I,
got the
I
correct
really
one right.
I really underestimated SAG. Like I feel like in the past few years, SAG has not been that indicative, but I think it went
It
four
went
for
four
four
for
with SAG,
four.
right?
Yep,
Yeah,
it went 4 for 4 this year. Yeah, I mean, in past
it
years,
was a
there's
wild
always like
year.
one that doesn't go. I mean, last year, I think that the only people that matched were Kieran Culkin and Zoe Saldana, because obviously,
Yeah, and they swept the whole season.
Timothy
So
and Demi Moore didn't win the Oscar. So, but yeah, I just thought that the momentum for Michael B. Jordan was so strong. And I do think that the SAG win did help boost his chance to win the Oscar. But then it does make me wonder. It's like, say he didn't win SAG, say SAG went to DiCaprio or Ethan Hawke. Like, would they have went on to win the Oscar at that rate? Like, what would have
Yeah,
happened
I
at
don't
that
know.
rate? But I think the Michael B. Jordan win was great. That's the speech that I've watched the most since it happened last night. And, New Jersey represent. He was born and raised
Yep.
here in Jersey, so this is a huge win for the state. But it was so deserving. And it was really exciting too to know that Michael B. Jordan had been working in the business since he was a child, but he was more so in the television world than the film world. But he came onto the film scene with Ryan Coogler, and last night they both won their first Oscars in the
Yeah,
same
just seeing
night.
them hug like after Michael's name was announced, that was just so cool.
Yeah, I think it's just very inspiring to see the trajectory of their careers together. And, they've every film that Ryan has directed, Michael B. Jordan has been in, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think Michael B. Jordan will forever work with Ryan Coogler, and honestly, he should. Like, it's one of the great actor director parents that we have right now, and everything that they've made together is great. Even like he has a cameo in Wakanda Forever, but I'm counting that as a film that he did with him. But like the
Well,
four films where
he couldn't
Michael B.
really
Jordan,
be in that fully.
true, but to count the films where he's fully in, they're all great. And Michael B.
Yeah.
Jordan has really flexed his muscles working with Coogler. So I think the Sinners victories were my favorite of the entire night. I mean, of course, we just gushed about Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler win for screenplay. That's awesome as well. But the cinematography win, that was great. And honestly, very, very deserved. So Autumn Durald Akapal, she became the first woman to win cinematography, the first woman of color, and the first black person to win the award too. So that's a huge, huge achievement. And honestly, it's deserved. Because when you really think about it, Sinners was one of the best looking films of recent memory. What they did with the cameras and the different aspect ratios and all of that, you had to reward that. You had to give that the reward, and I think that she gave a beautiful speech as well. And then also, what was the fourth one that Sinners won?
For score, Ludwig
Score.
won
Oh,
again for score, but very
he's
deservedly so. I love that score.
deservedly so, and he'll be back next year. I'm calling it right now.
For Odyssey.
He's gonna be back again next year. But
There was a tweet or something that said that like I love that Ryan Coogler and Christopher Nolan have shared custody of Ludwig Göransson and IMAX cameras.
that's true. Like literally, Ludwig has been
Just
with
passing back and forth each
yeah,
year.
like Ludwig has been with Nolan since Tenet, and he keeps working with him, and I think that that's a great pairing. And obviously, he came up into this space with Ryan Coogler, and I love that they continue to work together too. So, yeah, that's a great. I didn't even see that tweet. I think that's awesome that someone put that out. Also, but yeah, I think Sinners' victories were my favorite, and of course,
to go back to
Go ahead.
Autumn's win, the it was just like a perfect meeting of like fantastic work and like a historic moment, and she totally like her speech met the moment, like the fact that she asked like all of the women to stand, and like I think that she was oh my god, one of the greatest moments of the ceremony was Ryan running her son down to like to the front to see
Yeah.
her. That was adorable.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think that she just she talked about the work, she talked about her role in it, like the industry at large. Yeah, it was a great speech for like such just something that was just so well deserved. And yeah, like Sinners was a phenomenon for the cinematography of it, like the IMAX and the different formats you could see it in, and it's got a lot of beautiful, landscapes and lots of things going on. So yeah, that was a really great win.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Sorry, my phone is blowing up. Apparently, Dune posters came out, but I'm not looking at
no.
them right now. I have to look at them later. I'm in podcast mode. People who are texting me, I'm not going to disclose your names.
2026 is knocking on the door when we're trying to wrap up 2025.
Exactly. Timothy just lost an Oscar 24 hours ago, and now we're prepping for what
Yeah,
could
he's
be
like,
the
don't
next
worry, I'm gonna be
nomination."
back.
Someone's sending me a picture of bald Chalamet poster, and I'm like, no, not right now, later. So the Sinners victories were my favorite, even though One Battle After Another was my favorite film of the year. And I'm always happy when my favorite film of the year wins Best Picture, because that's a rarity for me. That has only happened maybe like 3 or 4 times in the entirety of my existence. So I think that it's cool that it ended up winning and everything. I, as someone who has wanted Paul Thomas Anderson to win an Oscar since he first discovered him when he was a teenager, I mean, I got chills literally when he won his first Oscar. I literally got chills, and I think that in his speech where he mentioned his kids and everything and how he made this movie for his kids, I'm like, this is why you're the GOAT, man. This is why you're the man, and I'm really happy for him. It's very exciting whenever you see a filmmaker who you've looked up to for so long finally getting their recognition at the Oscars. And I know that the Oscars don't necessarily matter when it comes to the quality of a filmmaker or an actor's array of work and everything, but this has been something that a lot of people have been waiting for a long, long time, and he's worked his ass off to get here, and I'm so happy for him. And then the other wins for one battle, the casting win we talked about is really good. The editing win, just gotta say, the editor is kind of hot,
Yeah,
kind of smash, kind of
he's
smash.
adorable.
But the Sean Penn of it all, I genuinely didn't think that they were going to go with him. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, and we've said this before many times, are we really going to reward him another Oscar when he has two already? Are we really going to award someone who has vocally stated his disdain for the Oscars? Are we going to award someone who's not really liked by the industry? As an actor, people love him. As an actor, a lot of people respect him. But as a person, a lot of people don't vibe with him. So I'm very surprised that he ended up winning. But then at the same time, if Sean hadn't won, it would have felt kind of weird if One Battle ended up winning Best Picture without an acting win, because every single Best Picture winner of the last, I think, maybe 5-ish years, maybe even more than that, they all went down to win Best Picture. I think, like, okay, so last year Mikey Madison won, and then Honora won.
And in a close race too.
In a close race. Year before, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. The year before that, the Everything Everywhere trio. Year before that was Troy Kotzer for Coda. Before that was Frances McDormand for Nomadland. And then the year before that, Parasite won picture, but it didn't have any acting nominees. And then before that was Mahershala Ali for Green Book. And then before that, you had 3 actors from Shape of Water nominated, but didn't win picture. And then Moonlight, Mahershala Ali won. And then the year before that was Spotlight, where nobody won for that. So basically, yes, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have an acting win to go on and win Best Picture, but it definitely would have felt weird if the strongest film of this lineup didn't have an acting prize.
Yeah, and I think when you're in a tight race acting wise, the person who's in the Best Picture frontrunner has a leg up typically. Which, I mean, I thought that was gonna, result in Tiana's win, and then we'd be freed up to not have to give it to Sean Penn. That was sort of my logic on it, but it flipped the other way, and they went with Sean Penn's performance first, and then Amy Madigan for supporting. So yeah, I think it's definitely like you're saying, if he didn't already have 2 Oscars, I wouldn't be surprised by this, but it's a very prestigious group of people who have 3 acting Oscar awards, and the fact that he's just really not. It's kind of odd too. He went to the Golden Globes, which was like the beginning of award season, and he was smoking in the theater.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess just since then he kind of gave up on it or whatever. But yeah, I think that not that necessarily I would love to hear something that he said in a speech. Like, who knows where that would go? But I think that it would have been nice to have. It just sucks that all 4 acting winners weren't there. It sucks that people who worked on the film, like, that they're not seeing their win represented up there. Although I will say that, like, when they were when they were introducing the category and showing the acting clips, they showed his, and I think it was the lie detector scene with Willa, and I turned to my boyfriend. I was like, God damn, the performance really is deserving though. Like,
it's so good. It's so good.
You have to, and like, I mean, I don't think that awards are ever just completely merit based. Like, that's impossible. People have their preconceived notions, and like, you kind of want to factor in, like, okay, who is this person? Like, as their role in the industry. Like I think that's all valid to be considered when you're like voting for someone for an award. But if you just look at this, like there's definitely a case to be made that like he gives like the greatest performance as when if you're evaluating just that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a great year. It's tough to say and it's totally subjective, but like
Yeah.
you can't say that he didn't like work for that on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it is a really great performance. It's an incredible performance. But it's also, like you said, it is frustrating that all 4 acting winners weren't there. And it's like you had the other 4 nominees in that category there, and then the person who won wasn't even there. And it's frustrating. And yes, the Kieran Culkin of it all being like, oh, Sean couldn't be here tonight or didn't want to be. Like, I also just want to say, like, he literally, I mean, every time he's on stage talking or whatever, he just brings Roman Roy energy to everything that he does now.
I think Roman Roy is just him. So,
but like that particular line where he's like, "Oh, he didn't want to be here," like that was Roman Roy basically speaking and everything. But yeah, I really thought that they were gonna do I don't know. I thought they were gonna go with a surprise, and I really wanted my no guts, no glory prediction to come true. And I'm not
yeah,
angry I
would've
made the
preferred that
prediction,
too.
but at the same time, I'm just like, I should have just went with the safe pick. Because sometimes playing it safe is not a problem, but I'm like, let me have one fun prediction. Just one. And I'm not in this for money or anything. Like me and Veronica, we don't do this for a living or anything. We do this because we enjoy watching the Oscars and we have a fun time with it.
Because we're obsessed and unwell.
Exactly. Although there are some people in this online film space that take it way too seriously. It's like, guys, you're just gonna move on from this tomorrow. Let's calm down. But
Yeah.
but genuinely, like,
It's fun, and I do think it is important to look at the direction that the Oscars go because it's like indicative of where the film industry is at for that year. So like I think it's very like interesting and important in that way. But I'm certainly not like I'm not throwing hands over any of my predictions. Like you can relax.
yeah, it's like, calm down, guys. Like seriously, calm down. It's like, I don't know. Some people just need to take it down a notch, and I'm not gonna call anyone out, but like.
It happens every year, especially as we said when the ceremony is so late. People just start, forming.
They have
narratives.
nothing better to do. They have
Yeah.
nothing better to do. I'm happy that we both got sentimental value right for international feature.
Yeah, that was I don't know. I guess in hindsight, it does seem a little bit more obvious. Like it had the higher nominations. I think it overall did better in the
Yeah, it
precursors,
helped
but,
to 4 acting noms and
Yeah.
the directing, the screenplay, the picture nom.
Yeah, but Secret Agent was definitely surging at the right time, and there was a
Yeah.
lot of support for that. I think, but yeah, it was nice just to see Joachim Trier have his moment on the stage, even though
Yeah.
the Oscar doesn't go to him; it just goes to the country.
Which, that's so annoying. I need them to
yeah.
change that because I want to live in a world where I could say Oscar winner Joachim Trier.
I know. I feel like there's been a lot of pushback to that in recent years, and I would imagine that's something that like they talk about changing. Hopefully, we'll see that soon.
Yeah, like, can you imagine that we live in a world where it's like Oscar winner Jonathan Glazer and like Oscar winner who won internet? I'm trying to think of an international.
Last year was I'm Still Here.
I'm Still Here. Yeah, who won in 2022? Who won that year? What was that? That was the year of
You're asking a lot of my brain.
Everything Everywhere. Who won that year? Oh my God. It'll come back to me momentarily.
Yeah.
But no, it is sad that it doesn't go to the filmmaker, and hopefully that changes very soon and everything. But this was the first Norwegian film to win international feature, which was a really cool stat. Another cool stat to bring up is that Warner Brothers won 11 Oscars overall last night, tying the record for the most wins by a studio in the single year. And this was previously held in 2004 by New Line Cinema, who, fittingly enough, is owned by Warner Brothers, when Lord of the Rings Return of the King swept and won every Oscar it was nominated for. So that's pretty cool. I figured that Warner Brothers in the long run was going to have the best night. I mean, it technically did even before the ceremony because they're the most nominated films, the 2 most nominated films of the ceremony were Warner Brothers films and everything. And the fact that Warner Brothers distributed the frontrunners, I think that's that's kind of a rarity for a studio to distribute the essential 2 frontrunners for the Oscars and everything.
Yeah, to be competing with itself.
Yeah. And like the fact that like PTA was celebrating Sinner's victories, and then Ryan Coogler was celebrating One Battle's victories. I think that that's awesome. They've been like partners in crime throughout this entire season and everything. And I love when, these winners shout out all the nominees in the category with them. I always love it whenever they do that. I think it's cool that they're like, okay, I'm going to take like 20 seconds of my time to shout out the other nominees, my other partners in crime and everything. So I loved all of that and everything. I guess in terms of other winners that, I think it is it's an interesting coincidence that they started the ceremony off with this Sinners skit and Amy Madigan was the first winner. Then you fast forward to the end where One Battle After Another was the last film to be rewarded, and it ended with the One Battle After Another skit with Conan. Because it makes me wonder, truly, it's like, did they have other skits planned if, say, a different film won picture?
I don't think so. I would think they would have to. I guess they could have filmed other ones, but I think I'm sure that they knew that One Battle wasn't going home empty-handed, so it wasn't going to be like a slap in the face, even if it lost Best Picture.
But like, can you imagine, like, say Sinners had one picture, what would the sketch have been?
Then it would have been like,
he becomes a vampire.
It would have been like, One Battle is getting sent to the office to get their quarter office. I don't know. Yeah, I think that it probably would have made sense in either context, but better that it followed a One Battle win.
Yeah. What other wins should we highlight? Jessie Buckley, Oscar winner. That's a very exciting win.
Yeah, she was so sweet.
So sweet. It was pretty obvious. That was really the only acting category, and we said this before. That was the only one that was really locked down, where we absolutely knew what was going to happen because she literally cleaned up the whole season. She won everything. And I can't tell you the last time that we had an actress sweep. It was probably Renee Zellweger all those years ago. That had to have been the last the last actress sweep, because usually actress is like the hardest category to nail down in terms of the winners. There's always like two people battling out. Like last year, Mikey Madison, Demi Moore. The year before, it was Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone. And now we have like a locked winner. And it's great to live in a world where we could say Oscar winner Jessie Buckley and Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan and Oscar winner Amy Madigan. Sean Penn already has Oscars, so that doesn't matter to him. Yeah. But I'm excited to see where things go now for their careers post-Oscar wins. Michael B. Jordan, he already shot his next directorial outing, which is really, really cool. So I'm excited for the trailer to be like from Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan. And I saw a tweet today because he's also going to be in Joseph Kosinski's Miami Vice movie with Austin Butler. I think that they would have to bank on the fact that Michael B. Jordan is now an Oscar winner. Like, they definitely have to capitalize that. And Austin Butler is also an Oscar nominee, so you definitely should capitalize on that. But Amy Madigan, she was literally out of the spotlight for years, and then she came back and she won an Oscar. And it still blows my mind that this is an Oscar-winning performance. I said this when we did our predictions, because I legit didn't think that this was going to be anything but this celebrated horror performance, but I didn't think it was going to go on to win all these awards. And now she won an Oscar. And I think that's awesome. And I know you're not high on Weapons, but even you
I don't
have
like
to
the
admit
movie, but I can totally
cool.
appreciate the performance. Yeah.
But even you have to admit that, like, also for a genre performance, like, that's two genre performances, her and Michael B. Jordan went in.
Yeah, two of the winners are a vampire and a witch. Like, it's very
awesome.
Very unusual for the Oscars, and and it's very, like, again, something that, like, kind of held me back from predicting her was that, like, if Weapons had been a little stronger, if it had, I think it was on the bubble to get in for screenplay. Some people were even saying for picture. Like, if it had had representation somewhere else, I would have felt like she was stronger. But the fact that, like, she got in there, the nomination for that movie, and she made it through all the way to the end, and for something where she has little screen time but a huge impact. There were several Aunt Gladys costumes at the Oscars party. There's also Remick, and there was Bob Ferguson, of course. So the fact that, like, it's just that had such a cultural impact, and I guess people just, combination of that and the fact that she's just been such a steady person in the industry for years, like, I think that's so cool. She and Ed Harris, so cute. Oh my god, just the way that he was looking at her when she won was adorable.
I like when she came on stage and she was like doing that laugh and everything.
Yes.
I was like, oh, you're
Some
really embracing the
maniacal.
Gladys of it all. I was hoping that she would run on stage, but she already did that at Saks. I guess she
Yeah.
didn't want to repeat herself again. Um, and then,
Yeah.
were there any other speeches that you were a fan of and everything?
Well, what did you think of the performances? So we had,
Oh,
the In Memoriam performance, and then we had Sinners, and we had Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. What did you think about those?
I mean, we talked about the In Memoriam. I thought the In Memoriam was very well done and everything. The I Lied to You performance was literally perfection.
So good.
I like literally chills just watching it. And then literally when Miles Kane was holding that note at the end and everything, and like, the classic shot in the movie where he points and then the camera pans up and everything. I was kind of hoping that he would point, then they would kind of replicate that in the ceremony, but understandably so they didn't do that. But that was really, really well done. Now, the Golden performance, I'll be honest, like when I watched the ceremony last night, and here's the thing, I went to a party where a lot of people were talking, and this is what happens when you go to an Oscar party that isn't just cinephiles and people who care about the Oscars like me and Veronica. So I rewatched the performance earlier today, and I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was cool with all the lights and
It
everything.
was a little underwhelming, yeah.
But overall, it wasn't the best. I think also it's like, how do you top the I Lie to You performance though? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And this isn't me dissing the song. I think the song is very good. I hate that the speech was cut off. That ticked me off. But I thought the performance of the song was good. But the I Lie to You performance I thought was much better. And the thing that was fun about the Golden performance was like I at that rate, since it was so much later in the show, I like kind of had an idea of where everybody was. So I'm like, okay, I want to see who's holding up the lights, and then I could see like in the far right where like the sentimental value people were. I'm like, I see Stellan holding up one, so he's vibing with it. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
God. I think it was obvious in this one, but I think throughout the whole ceremony, I don't think anyone had more fun than Tiana Taylor. Like her reactions were so good, especially when one battle won, she like puts PTA in a headlock, like and she was holding up the light. She
no,
was
I love how giddy
thriving.
she got. Literally, someone on Twitter was like, "Oh, it was so over early on." They like quote tweeted the clip of Amy Madigan winning. Then Tiana was like, I'm just happy to be supporting like all these performances, and I'm happy to be here with these nominees and everything. I don't know the
Yeah.
exact words that she wrote, but no, I mean literally she was the most enthusiastic person in the whole room. And like when Michael B. Jordan won, I mean she was like really bopping around, and honestly good for her. Like have fun, embrace it and everything, but also can we please talk about DiCaprio's mustache? Like, oh my God. That might be the hottest he's looked since he was 20.
He stole it from Pedro Pascal.
I literally, my friends were like, "Why is Pedro Pascal clean shaven?" I don't like that.
I said, "Why is his face bald? Put it back."
I think maybe Todd Haynes requested him to shave his
Yeah.
face for that new movie. I'm glad that they're finally making that too. But
But yeah, Leo looked good.
he looked good with the stash. And the people in my party were like, "Oh, what is this for?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's doing another movie with Scorsese." And yeah, the stash was a good look on him.
Or it could be for Heat. We don't know if he's in prep
They're,
for that.
they just dropped like set photos last week, I think, or the week before, of him on set of the new Scorsese movie. So it might be for that, but you never know. He could be saving it for Heat as well. In
Yeah.
terms of other winners, I mean, there's so many speeches that I loved. I mean, there were a lot of emotional speeches too. I wish I remembered who gave like, I think it was one of the shorts, where the winner talked about her child passing away and everything. I don't remember which award it was.
It's for All the Empty Rooms,
All the
the
Empty
documentary
Rooms,
short.
yeah.
Yeah, they had one of the subjects who was it was her daughter's room featured. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very emotional speech. What about? Is there anything else you could think of? I'm like so stumped. I'm also still recovering from the party, so.
Of course. Yeah. No, I think we covered most of it. Yeah, I think that again with the performances, it was like, I don't know, Golden was maybe a little underwhelming, but like I Lied to You was just so like, it was a great mix of, it was cool that they had Miles actually do it, like they had Jamie Lawson, and like they had the actors from the movie in it, and I was like, seeing it on stage like that, I think many people were like, oh man, this would make a great musical someday. Definitely should be. But yeah, I think that was, I was like I said, I was excited to see, people like Tayana excited. I liked when like Stellan and Renata like interacted with the bridesmaid bit, things like that. Yeah, it was a lot of cool. Again, some janky parts of the ceremony, but overall, like some really cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. There's never going to be a perfect ceremony, but I think in terms of the winners, it was overall a pretty good batch of winners. There weren't any that ticked me off, which is always a win for me. If there's ever a Oscars where no win like actively pisses me off, then that's good. But also, again, it just showcased how good of a year this was for film. Also, actually, one other criticism: why were the clips so short?
I'm always like so happy that they're doing clips, but I'm like very rarely like happy with what they picked or how yeah, they definitely
Also,
were getting cut
also,
off
it was
really
weird
early.
too that like so best actor they presented the names out of order. I don't know why they did that. I don't know if you picked up on that, but when I was rewatching like highlights this morning, and it was like, oh, they started off with Ethan Hawke, and I'm like, they're supposed to start off with Timothy because his name starts with a C.
Alphabetically.
Yeah, it was just weird
Yeah.
to me. And then they ended with DiCaprio, the Viva la Revolution, which I mean, that's a good clip for him to choose. But
Yeah.
it's like, why are the clips only like 10 seconds long? And I was trying to look back. I'm like, okay, let me look at past years. And usually the clips would be like 20 to 30 seconds a person. But some of them felt like 20 seconds and others felt like they were 5 seconds long.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would like the last few years, I think they've like not done the clips at all. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they have some bias against them, but I love that. And I think it's a great like, for us we've seen all the movies, like we're all caught up and everything, but I think for a lot of people who are just watching the Oscars, like that's a really good showcase to be like, "Oh, that looks really interesting. Like I want to check that out." And when you have like, 3 seconds, it's not really as enticing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else to touch upon. Um, do we think Conan's gonna be back next year?
I could see it. Yeah, I think that it's like I said, maybe, and you had kind of the extra wow factor from doing it for the first time last year that maybe
Yeah.
made it feel a little more exciting. But I think I could see him, going on a bit of a run and doing it for a few years in a row. I think he's probably going to get a warm enough reception for that.
Yeah. I liked when he made fun of Ted Sarandos. I enjoyed that. And when he made the ballet
This is
comment.
a theater. Yeah,
He
very
knew what
good.
he was doing with it. What about let's throw some silly ones in here. What about best dress? Who do you think was the best dress at the ceremony?
Ooh, very good question. I haven't really thought about this. The top of my head, I really liked Rose Byrne's dress. That
Mm-hmm.
was the like black with like sort of like flowery details on it.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Tiana's was cool. Yeah, I don't know. What about you?
Chase Infinity all the way.
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah, the light purple dress. Yeah.
She just like she's just such a star. And she's like literally like my new like crush like, in Hollywood. She's like just so beautiful and so radiant. And she just also seems like the sweetest person ever. And like she just has that face to where, you brought up before when Rachel McAdams cries, you cry. There was like an image that was floating around that Chase Infinity getting emotional on stage when one battle, one pitcher and everything. And I'm just like, baby, don't
Yeah.
cry.
So, I think it was during the Best Picture speech that like that PTA like said that he was so happy that he found her and that
She was the
she's
heart of
his
the
American
movie.
girl. Yeah, like that was really that like I teared up for that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. In terms of the men, Michael B. Jordan looked great, but he always looks great.
Yeah.
Even though he has no facial hair, Pedro Pascal looks great, but again, when doesn't he look great? Um, Hudson Williams looks good. I still need to watch Heated Rivalry. That's the Heated Rivalry guy, right?
Yeah.
I
I
still need to
have
watch that.
started. I'm like about halfway through it. I
Yeah.
haven't gotten back
Oh,
to it yet.
Mikey Madison.
Yeah, she looked beautiful.
She looks great. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone else on top of my head. Woomy looked beautiful. Um
Oh, Autumn Durald Arkapaw, she had a cool like suit sort of situation going on.
yes,
That was very cool.
yes.
That was unique.
Yes, yes, yes. And then
How about Grogu? He was dressed pretty well, right?
when Pedro Pascal called him a bitch, that was great.
I missed a little bit of that bit because I was in the bathroom. I came back like just at the tail end of it, but I saw the him not being able to clap thing.
That was so funny. That was more invested than the entirety of the Mandalorian and Grogu footage that we've received so far.
Yeah.
So and final question, and this is going to be a silly question.
Do it.
Who do you think will win Oscars next year?
Oh my god.
From what we know, so far in terms of what's coming out, I'm gonna make a prediction right now, and I'm gonna mark it. And 1 year from now, if this podcast is still going, we're gonna come back to it. I firmly believe that with the passion behind this particular person and the fact that they've never won an Oscar, I think that Tom Cruise will win Best Actor next year.
Ooh. Bold. Okay.
I think that that's going to happen, and I they've been test screening it already, and I know someone who went to the test screen, and they said that the film is good, but Cruise is on another level in it, and it could finally poise him to win an Oscar. And I mean, Inarritu has gotten many of his actors nominated. Of course, he directed DiCaprio to his first Oscar, so maybe the same thing could happen with Tom Cruise. I just think it's time to reward him. Like, I mean, he got an honorary Oscar, but I think it's time to reward him a competitive Oscar.
Yeah, I would love it. I definitely think he's, going to be in the mix. Inaritu, I feel like it could be great and take him all the way and he's like a juggernaut, or it could like kind of flame out, and it would all depend when we see the movie.
Hopefully it's like Birdman and not like Bardo. Hopefully, like that's the route I'm going with. Exactly, and Warner Bros. Is behind it too, so
he finally got Leo to his best actor win. So we'll see that. Yeah, I like that prediction. I would definitely be a fan of that. Let's see if I have to go with. Okay, I think this is maybe not like super ambitious. Like, I think it's definitely on the table, but I'm thinking now we know that the third that Dune 3, we know that that's going to be like the story is a little crazier, like everything kind of culminated with Dune 2, like from what I know of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Denis has a good shot at director. Which I mean, I think he wasn't even nominated for Dune 2, right?
He wasn't nominated for the first either.
Yeah. So I know that it's like it's maybe he's a bit of an underdog because of that, and the fact that so many people were like the both movies got nominated, especially in all the tech categories, like so much.
Yeah.
And like I think that there's a huge narrative that he's way overdue, and that I think that the Academy might have been waiting for like the story to culminate in this one, and even though a lot of people were like, oh, the story's not really going to be like the first two, so it's kind of, we're going to see it's going to go one way or the other. Either that this is going to be like kind of a wild swing that's very different, and the Academy's going to be like, I don't know what to do with this, and like it's going to get totally snubbed, or maybe, I don't know, maybe if they tweak the story in a way that's a little bit more, palatable and something that the Academy can go for, then I think this would probably be his time.
Yeah, I think that and it helps too. It's coming out in December, so which is like a perfect release date. It doesn't seem like they're moving it. I mean, we literally just minutes ago, I talked about how they dropped posters. I also read that they're dropping the trailer tomorrow, time of recording. So that's film Twitter is gonna explode tomorrow. Yeah. So I will probably be crashing out myself because Veronica's not as into Dune as I am. I love those two movies. I think they're two of my favorite films of the entire decade so far. And I'm excited to see it. And the footage of Bald Chalamet is going to freak everybody out. And Robert Pattinson, I hope we see what Robert Pattinson does in the trailer. And it's funny that he and Zendaya both presented director together last night. It's like, oh, drama and Odyssey and Dune. Like, literally, this is the Robert Pattinson and Zendaya triple feature year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have both of them work with PTA, please. I've always said that Robert Pattinson and PTA should work together. Like, that would be like a director actor pairing that would probably be the end of me. Complimentary, of course. But that is it. The season is over. One battle.
We did it. We survived.
We did it. We survived. Congrats to One Battle after another for being literally the sweeper this entire season. Congrats to every other nominee, every other winner. You guys did it. And now we can finally rest and not have to hear about these films ever again.
Well, congrats to One Battle, the highest honor, being eligible for our Best Picture draft that's going to be coming up.
Yes,
So
yes.
that one's not going to rest quite yet, maybe. But overall, yeah, that concludes recapping the 98th Academy Awards. Be sure to let us know what you thought of the show and the winners.
And with that, that is a wrap on today's episode of Some Like It Real. Thank you all for joining us. If you're interested in following along our journey, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Bryan Sutfield.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Vero Albarella and on Letterboxd at Alba_real_A.
And you can follow the show on all socials at Some Like It Real, as well as on YouTube at Some Like It Real. Be sure to share and subscribe. Guys, I'm tired. I'm tired. Leave me alone.
It's been a long day.
Be sure to subscribe and share it around and tune in every Monday for a new episode of Some Like It Real on podcast platforms.
We'll see you next time.